5, 6, 7, 8.
Tu relevo.
Welcome back to the 5678 podcast. It's your boy, Brandon, aka DJ 5678. I'm here with a special guest all the way from Orange County, Mr. Luis Aragon of Cielo Dance events.
What's up, guys? Once again, this is our take. Just want to say, Brandon, you have an amazing radio voice already.
Thank you very much, sir. Appreciate
So
you.
good.
All right, so we are actually here at the LA Summer Bachata Festival. It's been a fun time so far. A very busy weekend. I've taught many classes, and Luis has been DJing the entire weekend. So, first of all, how are you feeling? How's your weekend going so far?
It's good, man. It's good. It's always nice to come to these festivals and just, learn, talk, dance. It's a good time.
First off, how did you find yourself in the dance community? I'm sure, like everybody else, you started off with salsa. Talk a little bit about that and how you transitioned into bachata from there. Let's hear a little bit about your dance journey.
So I started dancing because it was actually an activity that the church put on, and it was like let's teach you guys how to dance salsa. I couldn't do the crossbody, man. It was the whole night and I just couldn't do it. The couple that was dancing were so good in my eyes that I was like, that's what I want to do. It also helped that the girl, I kind of fell in love with her too. So, it's always a girl, I guess.
Yeah, that's...
Long story short, it's because of girl.
Yeah. Common story.
Yeah, so I'm like, I'm going to learn how to dance for her. And I started taking classes, but this is 20 years ago. So there wasn't a lot of salsa classes in Orange County at all. The only ones you could take were kind of ballroom style salsa.
Right.
And so I'm like, all right, I'm going to take it. It was this very flamboyant guy that was teaching the class, and it was always him dancing with me. And at that time it was weird because, I've never danced with a guy before, and I'm 18, 19. So I'm very Mexican machismo back in the day.
Yep.
But I'm like, all right, cool, I'm going to learn it. And then I took some classes. I felt pretty confident. So I asked her, hey, can I show you what I've learned? She goes, sure. And I couldn't lead her. She was like, what are you doing? I was like, so I was learning ballroom salsa versus social salsa,
Yeah.
like club style. She's like, let me take you to a club so you can see what salsa looks like. And she brought me to this place called JC Fandango. It's a really legendary old school salsa place. They had almost every big band perform there. I think they had Celia Cruz, they had Mark Anthony, they've had Grupo Nietzsche, the classics.
This is down in Orange County?
This was in Orange County. I believe at that time was in Fullerton.
Okay.
And the place called JC Fandango. And she's like, you got to dress nice. You got to dress like you're going to church, basically. But, with some flavor.
Well, you met her in church, right?
I met her in church.
Okay,
yeah.
so that worked out.
So we go and I walk in. And everyone's in full suits, man. Old school, very caché looking.
Feathers?
Yeah, everything. People were dressed nicely, really nicely, And they had a big band. The bands back then were a solid 15, 16 actual musicians. And I just saw everyone dancing. I'm like, man, that's so cool. And then I see this little skinny dude. I remember he just looked really the typical, I don't know, bookworm, nerd. He just had glasses. He just looked inconspicuous, kind of. He brings out a girl, a gorgeous girl, and then starts dancing with her, and everyone just kind of makes a circle around him. And he just starts just crushing it. And I was like, oh, no way. It was a whole different level than the couple that I saw the first time. And so that was my first experience with the club. And from the club, I finally found some mentorship that were teaching LA style. The group was called Alma y Sabor. And I started learning club style. So I was taking the team with them and the classes. And then I found another kind of mentorship with this guy named Rodrigo Paz. He was a Colombian style salsero. Really good. He had ballet background, so he was always very technical and stuff like that. But unfortunately, he was a really hardcore alcoholic, and I got a lot of bad tendencies through him because he was my mentor. So
yeah.
We would get drunk and then we would go dance, but we would train so hard too. So it was I don't know, this.
What's weird? When I started dancing, I never really drank prior to dancing. Once I started dancing, I drank more than I ever have in my life.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a weird. It brought a lot of positivity to my life, dance, but that was one of the negative things it brought to my life.
Yeah, for sure. Alcohol, I think within our community has gotten much, much better overall. I think more people than not, don't drink, which, I think it's the right move. Like, I think having drinks once in a while, maybe having a drink, two, like at the club, like that's fine, Like I think that's totally fine. But some people, definitely just kind of like get lit, and I used to get lit too, man. We would crush like a whole bottle sometimes. Just it was bad.
Yeah, it's like a safety blanket, but it's
just, you're also young.
Yeah, that too.
You know what I mean? You're young and you're just stupid, and you're just like, let me just
right.
Because you can, the next day, you have a hangover, but it's not like right now. Like
I know,
If I drink now, I'm like, oh my god, I feel like my soul's leaving me.
I know, it's crazy. I definitely don't partake as much as I did once upon a time, but in the beginning, for sure, I felt like I needed it to feel safe on the dance floor. So I get that. Okay, so you picked up dance, you started going to the clubs and everything like that. When did you decide that you wanted to sort of take it more seriously and get even deeper?
You know what? It was actually kind of accidental because, my whole experience was just go to work, take classes, go to team practice, and then go social dance. And that was like just my life for like a few years. I didn't think anything above it. And then I got fired from my job. Rightfully so, because I was giving away free food to like get better tips. But you're young, you're just trying to make some extra cash. So I got fired, and then at that time I'm pretty young, so I think I was like 22, 23 maybe. I had already been dancing for 5 years, and people had been asking me like, hey, do you teach, or do you do privates, blah blah blah. And so I was like, what, this I'll just go for it. If I mess up now, I'm still pretty young. I can just, I can do something else.
Absolutely.
So I went for it, and I did it full time, and I started with just teaching. I'm trying to think. I taught for my original dance group for her. Like I would teach the group classes there. But my first real stable job was at Tapas. Tapas is also like an legendary Orange County club.
That one I do know of.
I got the class there, and it was actually bachata. Because like at that time, any other place for salsa was kind of pretty like dominant. Or actually, wait, I don't even know anymore, bro. It's been such a long time. Let me think back.
That's how the stroll down memory lane goes.
Right?
Some details get cloudy.
But yes, I started teaching first.
Okay.
So that was like the first like kind of like break for me was to teach, and I grew my students, and then I got fired from that class too. The promoter got mad because like the original deal was whatever I make in the class I get to keep except for one Sunday. So that one Sunday he would keep it.
Okay.
I'm starting off.
Yeah.
It's kind of zero loss kind of game. Like for him, he's like, all right, if he brings people, great. If he doesn't, where we don't have anybody right now. So I built up the class where it was like bringing in like $300-$400. So I was making more money than he was as a promoter, and he didn't like that.
Yeah.
He didn't like that at all. He ended up finding out that I was having my team practice there early. So I had a team by that time.
Okay.
He's like, you can either have them to practice here early because you're getting free studio rental, basically, or you give me all the money for all the Sundays. And I was like, come on, man. And I talked to the owner. I was like, hey, he's being a dick. And the owner's like, it's his night, man.
Yeah.
I can't. It's like, as long as he's not doing anything wrong,
right, I
can't say anything. I was like, he's like, however, I have a Thursday night available. Do you want to start your own thing? And I was like, yes, give me that Thursday. And that's when I first started promoting.
When was this?
This had to be like 12 years ago.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
How did that go for you? Just right out
terrible.
of the gate?
Actually, the first place was not bad because when I left the Sunday, because it was a Sunday night, when I left Sunday, people were asking me like, hey, where'd you go? So I'm like, well, I'm here on Thursday now. And so within like, I think a year, everyone that was going on Sunday moved over to Thursday for me. So I had my own like decently little spot, you know what I mean?
So you obviously were learning on the fly, trial by error.
Yeah, for sure.
What are some of the biggest lessons that you learned while you were going through that initial experience?
I think the biggest one was like separating work and play. Because like, again, you're young, you're a promoter, you're a teacher, and it's just so easy to just fall into really bad habits and choose the easy. So I definitely, for a while, just was enjoying myself, like selfishly.
Do you have any particular stories that you'd like to share?
Oh, man. I don't know.
It could be one of the PG light ones.
Let's see. I think a PG one. Jesus. The one that I really regret, is I would drive drunk, which was something that, like, I look back and I'm like, I was crazy.
Yeah.
Like, like to the point where I sometimes didn't even know how I got home.
I know, dangerous.
That's crazy for me. And then, like, every day I'm just like sometimes thinking I could be somewhere else. I could be in jail. I could be dead.
Right.
And but I don't know. Like when at that moment, like it didn't
register.
It didn't register.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm doing it.
Yeah,
I keep getting home safe. Like,
right. When you're a kid, you just have a level of invincibility. So
yeah. And I would have friends that would get like DUIs, and oh my god, it sucks for them.
yeah.
But yeah, I think that was probably like for sure one of the biggest ones. I was just like, man, yeah, I've been quite the idiot, bro. Like, quite the idiot growing up,
But you learned from it.
Now.
That's
But
okay.
I mean, like,
but you learned from it.
I learned from it. Yes. I just, I'm thankful that I got out of it, because
Right.
I know a lot of people that go as far as I do never get out of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah.
What made you, I guess, want to sort of continue down the road of promotion versus like dancing? Because you said you had a team.
Yeah.
Why did you decide to, let that go and then do promotion instead?
Oh, money, for sure, money.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like it's far more lucrative to be a promoter than a teacher or a DJ. You're doing the promotion. It's your event. It's such more sustainable too, because no matter how good of a dance instructor you are, like eventually, your body gives out. New instructors come, which that's part of like any part of evolutionary growth for our community needs to have younger people come in, and the younger people they have to be better. They will be better, and so we need better teachers as we grow, and we need to make space for it. So as a teacher, that's hard, man. You can ask these guys like teaching as just your full-time job. That's a hard way of living. Doing teams, that's a hard way of living. DJing, a little bit more funner, just because you get to play and stuff like that. But even then, like, maybe some of the best DJs might make like $300 a night. Like, that's really top end.
Right.
Which, if you're working 5 days, it's not bad. But how many places do we actually have as a community?
Yeah.
So that they can be working at that rate too. So those rates are usually for festivals or like special events.
I'm happy that we're having this conversation because obviously you are an organizer, and so you have a very particular outlook on some of this stuff. Why do you think that bachata DJs get paid so much less than the salsa DJs? Because the paid discrepancy is pretty large from what I've heard.
I don't know, because like honestly, I pay all my DJs pretty much the same.
Okay.
I want to say that I could honestly be pretty fair with prices, and for the most part, sometimes I'll be like, hey, what's your rate? And they'll throw me a number. I'm like, okay, even if I know like it's kind of high, but I just want to show them like, hey, I respect your talent.
Yeah. And
why not? Like I like being able to work with people, and I want them to feel good when they come to my club. Like, oh, like, I'm like, he respects me, because I'm not like, hey, can you do it for like $100 less?
Yeah.
If I genuinely don't think it's gonna bring me much value, then I'll just say no.
Right.
Like, hey, I'm not, because there are some people that come in and I don't know, like, may not bring in like the best vibe. I'm always about like, hey, join the party, but some people bring a lot to the table when they get hired. So
yeah, we've worked together before, and I kind of have a general idea of your system. You've kind of built a system and put that in place.
Yeah.
And it seems to be working well for you, because every single time you do something, it tends to have success. So obviously that is a formula.
Yeah.
So can you talk a little bit about how you developed that formula?
No. That's top secret.
You don't have to give away your secrets. But I guess what I'm asking is, what goes into your thought process in terms of things that you particularly value when it comes to doing events?
Honestly, the biggest thing is just to ask your patrons, ask your dancers, ask your friends, hey, what are we missing? Hey, how can we make this better? Some people say like small things like, oh, I wish the instructor would just stand on the stage so we can all see their feet. We didn't think about that. So people are telling you what they like. It's just free information right there. People want to be listened to. So I just ask, and through years and years of refining things, because people can ask and it might not work out. It could have just been that small percentage, but it's worth trying it. I feel like I do have the luxury of having a lot of venues where I can kind of experiment with different things and see what works and what doesn't work. And I think that's basically it. It's just I've done it wrong so many times.
Yeah.
That now, there's only the good ones, because you can only, stop so many times.
Absolutely. As down to a science as you have it, we all make mistakes, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to bring it up because I know you just went through a little something recently.
Oh, yeah.
First of all, what happened? I know that you had some instructors that were supposed to be coming, and I know you, and I know exactly how this went down, especially because I've promoted myself as well. So I understand. When you have an artist, you just say, hey, here's the artist, here's where they're from.
Yeah.
And you roll with that. Obviously, we live in a very sensitive time right now. So you brought some artists out. You mentioned that they were from a particular place, and it didn't necessarily carry well. So I just want you to have your opportunity to just kind of speak on it, what happened, how you feel about it, and, just speak your piece on it.
For me, it's just a situation that happened that unfortunately there was just no win in this, in a sense that I can defend myself in any way that won't continue to bring life to this situation. So for me, it's more about just trying to be as understanding to people. I have people reaching out to me and sending me messages, and yeah, some of them are actually pretty hurtful, and I'm just like, dude, you can say your piece without having to attack me in a like a character way kind of thing.
Personally.
Personally, But at the end of the day, I have to just be kind to them, because they're looking for answers. We're all trying to make it through this world, and there's some just terrible things going on, and I can understand how people get really passionate about things, and I was just in the crosshairs. And for me, that's how I see it. It's just something that, people just needed to say their piece. And for me, I'm just like, okay, yeah, I hear you. I'm a human, and please give me grace to get better. And so thankfully, kind of just, I think it's almost past.
Yeah.
There's the big brunt of it is done. And I think I handled it the way I wanted to. And, I don't have any regrets as far as all of it, because at the end of the day, I learned.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Just kind of talking about that. So you deal with a venue on a week-to-week basis.
Mm-hmm.
So not just specifically about that situation, but in general, how is it when you have to go back and forth with ownership in situations, whether it be something like that or anything else that has to do with you trying to have and promote a successful night, and them trying to, achieve their goal of running a successful business?
Sure.
Does that ever clash, I guess? Those two goals?
You know what? Rarely, and only because I'm pretty straightforward with these owners and managers, and for the most part, they like us there. They like our crowd. They like that we have something different. We're low maintenance as far as you don't have to worry about us getting in fights. You don't have to worry about us vandalizing things or leaving a bunch of mess. We're a solid, fun crowd, and I've been doing it such a long time. So they give me a lot of trust, and so when they have to step in and do something, I'm okay with it. I'm like, yeah, it's your call. I'm not gonna fight you on it. And if at any reason they're like, hey, it's not working out, I'm okay with that too, because the venues are great, but it's not what makes our events popular. It's us. It's the people. It's our community. We could do it somewhere cheap and ugly and with terrible dance floors and whatnot, but I try my best to pick nice places for us, because we deserve nice things. And at the end of the day, I know we could do it anywhere, because like I said, it's about the community. So if they the management says anything, I don't worry about it.
Yeah. How was it, I guess, building the Orange County community? Because obviously you're at the forefront of that in terms of promotion. I actually talked to Mike Zuniga a few episodes ago, and he mentioned, well, first of all, he mentioned that you guys went to high school together. I didn't know.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
He was a year younger than me. Yeah.
Okay.
We didn't even know, though. We both didn't know we were in high school.
I think he said that, yeah.
Yeah, until later.
And he talked about building the community, from the dance studio perspective, right?
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about it from the promotional organizer side of things? I'm sure that you participated in the dance scene a lot when before there was anything in Orange County, driving up to LA and
Yeah,
going
for
to
sure.
Stevens and
I used to be
everything.
at Stevens every Tuesday and Sunday.
Yeah, Tuesday.
Tuesday was the place, bro.
Oh, okay.
Tuesdays back in the day was a salsa on 2 night.
Oh, okay, got it.
The dances there, legendary, man.
Okay, I didn't know of Stevens on Tuesdays.
I mean, there was a golden age of salsa that I really wish you would have saw, man. It was like, yeah, but I digress.
So anyway, talk a little bit about building that community in Orange County and what you sort of prioritized to be able to do that.
I mean, if I'm gonna be honest, like early on, it was just honestly it was just growing me financially and stable because I was doing this full time. So for me, it was like, okay, more events that I do, the more money I can make, the more that I can just focus on this, which shows in our numbers back then, because all I cared about was like just making money. Now, like, it's about like the community, and it's about making people feel this is a place that you can get better. And I don't just mean in dance, but like in everything, like, get more confidence, be able to talk to people, get inspired by other people's progress. Like I want, like, I think I've been able to kind of facilitate a place where we can do that. And I think that's the biggest growth, is that people feel like, oh, coming here, it feels nice.
Yeah.
And it's amazing to see some of these people just change. Like, people that would like be quiet are now like asking other people to dance and just saying hello. It's nice, So I think that's it. That's the secret sauce.
What are some of the things that you would like to do in the dance community that you haven't done yet?
I think for sure a festival. I feel like it's obviously a lot of festivals. There's, I think, room though for something different. I think I've been in this dancing for a long time, and I've been to a lot of festivals, so I need to do one just to kind of, I don't know.
Would you go full on festival, or would you start it off as like a weekender and build it from there?
I'm not sure. I think I might just do one. I don't know. I think I might just do one really fun day and see how that works out. Like, so that I can get some data back. Again, send out surveys, talk to people, and see what went right, what went wrong, so that we can grow it to scale. So that way now, okay, this, let's do it on 2 days now. But I would like to do at least one to just, like I said, just kind of throw my own flavor out there. What
is it about the current model that you don't particularly like, or that you think could improve?
I think it's just played out. I feel every Congress festival has pretty much the same outline, and I get it. It works. Let's do workshops, shows, dance,
pool party.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, and it works, and it's fine. Like, and I know other congresses have tried different things. So yeah, I just I'll keep those a little bit closer to my pocket, but I do have some fun ideas that I would like to implement.
Yeah, I think my thing is, it's a small detail, but I would love if we could get some variety on the themes for these nights. I am sick of wearing all white. I'm sick of wearing gala night.
Yeah.
And I am sick of pajama parties. Can we do something different, please?
As someone that goes to a lot of festivals, for me, it's clutch, because I'm like, all right, you know what I mean? Like, I don't have a whole closet, or have to buy something every single time, as a DJ. So I think that might be a reason. Is just that if they do too many different ones, all these traveling DJs and artists are like, oh.
All right. So one of the things that people like the most about this podcast is they get to know these individuals on a more personal level. They hear different details about these people that they see all over the place, whether it's in person or online, IG, whatever. So talk a little bit about you personally. What are some of the things that you like to do when you're not dancing, or, does dance just consume your entire life? Because there's definitely been some people on this show where literally all they do is dance. They think about dance, they eat, sleep, and drink dance, and that's it.
Ooh, who?
Joe. Joe was one for sure.
I can see that.
Yeah, she's like addicted.
Yeah, well, she has a studio too, and teams. Yeah, that's her whole life. Dance isn't me. Like, dance is something I do. I know, talking about earlier about the whole like situation, I know someone asked me like, well, what would you do if if everything was taken away from you? I'd be like, just go do something else. Like, dance isn't who I am. It's not my identity. I love it. I love doing it. I love, sharing it. Just part of me. On my own time, I like to rock climb a lot. I like going to the gym. I've been reading a lot lately. I got into like a lot of philosophy books lately. I like Disneyland. I like going to Disneyland by myself. And I'll just bring a book, and then in the line I'll read, and it's like one of the funnest things to do is for me is like my time off is just to chill. I love movies. I go to movies at least once or twice a week by myself too.
I know the last time we were at this festival, you actually went to a movie.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
I was like, oh, that's different. You're just gonna take time in the middle of the festival and just go watch a movie.
I love storytelling. I love that's like, it's one of our old, it's our way of communicating. It's our way of passing knowledge. And I love being able to see someone else's reality, like on a big picture, like on a good movie, like when you see a good director, when you see a good storyline. And I'm just like, like it just, for a moment, just, you're in this like other world. And I find that really fun. Same thing with like the books. It's just being able to see a different perspective of our world, because we see it in our own eyes, and sometimes we're blinded by different scenarios and interpretations of it. So when I can do that, when I can get a new outlook, I think it's fun.
Do you apply any of that to your business?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think that's the thing when I ask people like, hey, what do you think? What can we do to make the place better? Is there anything I can do? It's just gathering more eyes, more info from everyone. And so, yeah, it's just growing and learning in any aspect is just going to be, I think, beneficial for you. So I take that as a business aspect and as a personal aspect.
So Cielo Dance events, when did you decide that you wanted to start that brand particularly? And first of all, why'd you call it that? And where do you see that brand going from this point forward?
Originally, I would just promote the location. And then one of my students, he was a business guy. He was like, no, you need to start branding your name. From now on, start using your last name into everything. So I started doing Aragon Productions, Aragon Dance Team. Had that. And then, this is stupid, but I watched Batman. And they were talking about how like Batman is a symbol. It's a symbol. So that's where I'm like, I need a name.
Prince.
Yeah, I need a name. I want the name and its entity to be its own like character versus me, because me, I'm human. I'm fallible. I'm gonna make mistakes. But Cielo is a brand. It's different. Like it doesn't. It can be its own thing. I even like when I send messages, I'm like, we thank you. It's like it's a team. So I started like, what would be a cool name? And I just thought, what would be easy for Americans to say? So I was like, I wanted Latin, obviously. Want something, that you can say easily. And yeah, it just came to my head like Cielo. I'm like, oh,
Cielo Dance events.
Cielo Dance events.
And do you have a favorite event that you've done in the past, or one that you currently do now?
Currently, right now, my favorite one is, I think, Sundays. Just because it's during the day. I just love that.
Yo, the day parties, that's the most underrated thing. Especially as you get older, I've found that the day parties are way more beneficial. They're much more fun for some reason. I love that I get home by 9 p.m. and I can still get a full night's rest and go to work feeling all right the next day. I'm all in on the day parties. We need more.
Yeah, I think it's a great group. I have a good team there. Everyone's really great, so the energy and the vibe there is just, it's so good.
Yeah. So we tried the day party situation.
We did. It was not bad.
It was actually really fun.
Well.
I had an issue after the day party was over. But the party itself went very well. I know that you are a man of energy, and for whatever reason, we didn't do it again. It seemed like the energy with the management or the ownership at that particular
Yeah.
place didn't really go well.
Yeah.
So obviously you have this really good situation on Sundays at Sevilla's. Shout out Sevilla's Sundays.
Yeah.
So kind of talk about why that particular day did not work. What did you see in your eyes that was like, it went well, but I still would prefer to, go back to the drawing board and maybe try something else at a different place at a different time?
I really liked the location. I really liked everything, but me and the owner just weren't on the same page, and I didn't want to invest time and energy into a location that I knew eventually me and the owner were just not gonna work out. So I'm just like, hey, thank you, and let's just call it. And then you had your situation, and so that kind of like put you out for a minute. And so me, I'm just gonna keep going. I'm like, all right, I don't know how long it's gonna take, but in the meantime I was looking for a spot, and I found a place in downtown Santa Ana, and he finally gave me a date, but it wasn't until like second or third. I was just like, I can just do it, why not? You know what I mean? But it was like a test run to see if it was going to be good or not. We did get another day, so we're going to do it like once a month. Masa's already been talking about like maybe like looking for another place. He's always telling me about it,
It was a fun day.
I love it. Like she's putting boots on the ground and trying to do something. I'm like, hey, if you guys want to help me find a place, I'm down to like, let's do a Saturday. I still got 2 other Saturdays available.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Saturdays are good, man. Just like a day party, chill, something fun.
What I'm getting at with that particular question is, what are some of the things that when you are trying to invest in a new location are deal breakers, I guess?
Bar sales.
Okay.
That's a huge one. You always got it. Like some people, the people that didn't know is that when we're doing these events at clubs and the ones that have a bar, obviously, they require a minimum because they have to staff their people. They have to have the place open. So like they need to make money. They're not just enjoying us dancing, And so that's the first thing. It's like, okay, how much does this venue want us to make? And typically, I think on an average, clubs, low end, $200, high end, maybe $2,000, like high end for most places. And most clubs are going to ask you for at least, just depending how nice it is, at least $1,000, just to pay on the day. So I think going with the daytime was a good idea because they're not doing anything. Most clubs, bars, if they're open during the day, there's not that many people there.
Can you talk a little bit about the expenses that it takes to put on an event?
Yeah, I mean, you have to do from like the very beginning, like your front end, which is your door person. So you have to pay someone that you trust with all your money and that has good customer service. Like everyone that I hire, I try my best to make sure that they're nice because we are facilitating a service, and we have to be good about it. And so we have to do that. We have the front end, we have our teachers. Sometimes I have 2 classes, so that means if I'm not teaching, that's 4 people on top of that. And then I have my DJs, which usually I have 1 at least minimum, sometimes 2. And then on top of that, we have, flyers for promotions, just weekly promotion, like budgets for that. But if there's anything else, you have to add it, like maybe a birthday cake for people that are coming up or drinks. I mean, I buy drinks all the time for people. So I put that into the equation.
Yeah. So all in all, because I think what people don't quite understand is like specifically how much some of these things can cost. So let's just go through it in a general sense. Okay.
I don't know.
All right. So door person, what's a door person going to cost you?
I'm going to give you ballpark ranges.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
everyone's a little bit different.
Right.
I know that some people get paid as little as like $40 and as high as like $150.
Yeah.
For a door. Like they have to be there the whole day. Teachers range depending on like their level of expertise. They can go for $50 to $150 per person. Then you're looking at your DJs. Your entry DJs could potentially do it for free. Lower end, someone's that has a couple years of experience, maybe a year or 2, they could do as low as $100. And then like the higher rate DJs are going to go anywhere from like $200 to $350. If you have to hire a flyer guy, I don't know. I do my own flyers, but like I'm assuming it's going to charge you at least Low end maybe $20, high end $50, and then you have to wait to get it back and forth. You have to buy wristbands, and then drinks. I mean, my bar tab is always at least $200 from just buying drinks for everyone.
So right out of the gate, let's just say ballpark, you've already gone into the red $500-$600 just before the event really starts.
Yeah.
So now you're not only trying to make that money back, you're then trying to get back into the black, right? So it's a tough game.
It is.
It's a tough game. It is.
And that's why, honestly, I have multiple events. Because that way, if one event gives me this percentage, well, 3 of those are not a bad percentage. If you only do one a week or one a month, you might not make anything. You might lose some. Maybe you'll have a good week, but by having multiples, it averages out. But it is. Yeah, some people don't understand. Like you're putting a good chunk just to open up. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite person that you like to work with?
Brandon. 5, 6, 7, 8. All day.
It was fun. It was a one-off, but it was fun. I enjoyed it.
We still do it. Yeah, I like you. You're very, your sense of like marketing and your ideas were really nice. They were refreshing. Your video background obviously was a tremendous help. And then you got swag, bro. You got swag.
We try.
It's like you don't have to. Anybody else I like to work with? I work with everyone really well. Yeah. I think I don't have favorites. Everyone flows differently. Yeah. But I love that I can work with so many people. That's the best part.
What's your worst experience that you've had since you've been in the dance community, whether it's as an instructor or a organizer or dealing with a particular situation?
Fights. Those are always the worst. Those are scary because you're just like, oh man, come on.
Like physical fights?
Yeah, myself. Early on in my life, I definitely got into fights just because I'm stupid. And then later in life, like, just randomly, like, thankfully, I think I can count, in my hand how many fights there have been in the 20 years that I've done this. But that's always kind of like, dude, guys, come on. Yeah. That's just silly. But I think that's the biggest one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you ever done anything outside of the sort of Southern California community? Have you done any events or done anything, elsewhere?
No. I think that's hard because, like, especially if you're not part of the community, you just roll up and be like, hey, guys. You guys don't know me, but I'm going to throw an event.
Yeah, I mean, well, I think some people, what they will do if they do have interest in doing something like that, they'll align themselves with somebody that is a local, right?
That's true. But for me, I'm just like, you have your community. Yeah. Why not just make where you live pretty? If we all just like kind of just take that as our responsibility is like to make our area just a little bit nicer. That's it. Like I really, really want Orange County to be like a place of like really amazing dancers. Like that's if I can, help facilitate that, I'll be pretty happy.
And what would you say that you are particularly doing to make sure or ensure that happens?
I've recently really just committed to like getting better myself, because it is my events. I am in a way the leader, and I need to represent that, because if you're the leader, your people are going to look at what you do. So if they see you taking workshops, they see you putting in the time to be a better dancer, they're gonna want to do the same thing. I also been like recently just giving feedback to my dancers, like, hey, this is good, but like, let's go here. This is how I should feel. And I'll dance with the leaders and the followers so that everyone that's in my community just gets a little bit better. Yeah. Just a little bit better. And I think that's it. It's just that little better, that's a little better, that little better. And then everyone starts helping each other. And it's just exponential. So right now it feels a little, tiring, but if I keep doing this for another like 3 to 5 years, we'll just have amazing dancers here.
Yeah. What's your overall goal? I think we've kind of talked about this in the past where you said that you wanted to build something that you don't have to necessarily manage on a day-to-day basis. Sure. So explain what you mean by that, and how close are you to doing something like that?
It depends on the location. Again, I have 3 different ones. And the goal for any promoter, I think, Obviously, that's his mind, but I think is to have a venue where people are just gonna show up, no matter what, and like a good amount of people.
Stevens.
I feel like Stevens hit or miss, unless they're having something big, like a big artist or something like that. They and it's hard because they're open Wednesdays, they're open Thursdays, some Fridays, Sundays, some Saturdays. So it's the same venue running a lot of events at the same time, and so and it's a huge venue, so it's hard to make it look packed in there. So they definitely have a tough challenge, but Demetrio I think Demetrio's amazing, and his work ethic and his business mind, super good.
Do we have anything like that then? And if we don't, then what makes you believe that you can be the first to create something like that?
I feel like my Sundays are there. I feel like my Sundays at Sevilla are pretty locked in. Consistent students, consistent attendance, and I have to do zero promotion. I even kid with the people there sometimes. I'm like, hey guys, you gotta stop telling people about this place. It's just too many of us, man. Like, so I think Sundays is like that. Tuesdays are kind of getting like that, and Thursdays is my newest location. So that one's the one that's a little bit, fresh, and I'm still building the community in that area.
Yeah.
Our classes are good now, and like the better we get our students, the more that they're going to stay longer, and like the more that their relationships will get intertwined.
Yeah. That's a hard place that you're at, by the way.
It is hard.
Because, that was actually where I started. That was my very first dip into...
Oh, shit. How long ago was that?
2019.
Okay.
That was the first opportunity that I got to instruct was at Sevilla's in Long Beach. And not only was I instructing, but I was, kind of helping with like the promotion and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I was not at the forefront of that aspect of it, but it's tough because there's been so many people that have been in that venue over the years.
Yeah.
So when it comes to recycling venues, how do you approach that? Because, sometimes people are just like, this place is burned out, man, and it's just never coming back. But you're doing something where I've seen it have more success under you than it has under the last few people that have tried to be there, including our little group. How are you making that work? And, I think the reason that we struggled over there particularly was because of a couple things. Number one, parking was not the greatest situation. And then I think the other part of it was just, again, it was also the night. We chose a Wednesday night, which was competing with Stevens.
Yeah.
But again, I think also just the familiarity of it. People are like, oh, I'm not going to go there because it's definitely not going to be like it was on Thursdays, 7 years ago.
Sure.
So how do you compete with that and, sort of ignore all that and just say, you know what, we're going to bring it back or bring it better than it was before?
Thankfully, I just have a solid community, and I have a solid influence. We have a good following, and the only reason I even thought about it was that I had people asking me, hey, we would like a place in Long Beach. And I'm like, all right, let's make it happen. Why not? People are asking for it. And at the very worst, it didn't work. It doesn't work out. Okay. I have no ego when it comes to like failure, because how are you going to succeed without trying?
Yeah.
So if it hits in your face, like, again, you just learn, okay, that doesn't work. Just do it again.
You're kind of like Mr. Sevilla, because you've done now Sevilla, Costa Mesa.
Yeah, I got two.
Long Beach. Did you ever deal with Sevilla and Riverside?
I'd never directly worked with them. No.
Okay, got it.
No, actually, I did. I DJ'd. I did DJ. Vince brought me out a couple of times out there.
Okay, and then of course I know I've seen you at Sevilla's in San Diego.
Yeah, yes, so. I've done them all. That's wild. I've collected all four of them, like the railroads and Monopoly.
Yeah,
I love it.
All right, well, all of that said, I appreciate you sitting down with me today, sharing some of your insight, some of your story, some of your origin story, and some of the experiences that you've had, bumps along the way and perseverance along the way as well. I know that you've spent a long time building the community in Orange County, and I'm sure that they all appreciate you for that. So that said, appreciate you for sitting down with me today, and everybody else, we will see you on the next episode.
Thank you, Brandon.
Thank you.
Si baila mi bachata.